What's up, guys? This is Time Vision Production with our new show, Time Vision Talks. My name is Mustafa.
I'm Faik.
I'm Nazar.
And today we're gonna talk about the famous Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov fight. You guys probably seen all kinds of angles, all kinds of snapshots in Instagram. What do you guys think? Faik?
Crazy. Just the greatest fight in the history of the UFC. And not just because of the fight itself, but the drama before, the drama after, the drama is still yet to come. Like, who knows what's gonna happen now? But the fight itself was phenomenal and everything about it was just insane. Like, what are your guys' thoughts?
I agree. What do you think, Nazar?
Yeah, on like that same page, but like I didn't really watch the match, but like I watched like highlights, you know. But like for sure, Conor McGregor's gonna want a rematch. I just know this man's gonna want a rematch, like always. Of course.
He's already sent a tweet. He's like, a good knock. Can't wait for the rematch. And then afterwards, he sent another tweet. You won the fight, but we won the battle. Some shit like that, right?
That's the stuff you gotta say after you take such a hard loss. I mean, he went in there talking all that smack, and obviously Khabib came with a chip on his shoulder because of the whole religious aspect. They were attacking him personally, and he literally came in. He said, "I'm going to smash your boy," and he came in. He smashed Conor McGregor to the ground.
That's what he said.
Pure dominance from the minute he came in to the minute he left.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. He said
That's what it was, brother.
He said he was gonna rearrange his face. That's what Khabib said to Conor McGregor. I'm gonna rearrange your face. If that's not a threatening insult, I don't know what is.
See, the thing is, it was definitely an insult. And the main thing I respect about Khabib in this specific fight was that, personally, I feel he could have ended this fight much earlier, like within the second or third round. But he came in with the purpose that he will smash the man. Like, he wanted to beat on him, and literally he beat on him 2-3 rounds. And in the fourth round, I sort of predicted it watching with my friends. I was like, he's gonna end it this round. There's no point in going to the fifth. But he literally even stood in front of the man in the third round, bro. Khabib and Conor was talking his smack about his boxing.
They were standing face to face.
Face to face, and nothing. He couldn't do anything to him.
I mean, yo,
Crazy.
Khabib knew he was gonna win, bro. Like it was clear the way he was fighting. Man had to win, bro. And like I feel like the way you were saying, like how he was like trying to go on as long as he can. He just wanted to like mess up Conor, yo. Because the man wanted it really bad, especially like after insulting his family, the man's dad, his religion.
Trust me.
So we've talked a lot about what happened before the fight. Let's get more in depth about it. For those of you who don't know, Conor McGregor is a very famous fighter, Irishman. He's one of the poster boys for the UFC.
Yeah.
He brings a lot of money for the UFC. You know, Dana White has admitted it himself that Conor McGregor brings in more money in one night than many fighters do in many months.
Yeah, definitely.
The man fought Mayweather, like.
He bridged different sports from UFC to boxing to fight one of the most famous boxers of today's time.
One of the greatest boxers of all time.
Of all time.
Undefeated.
I mean, but Conor McGregor himself is not undefeated.
Khabib is still undefeated. I get that.
Undefeated, 27-0, like champion, light heavyweight champion, right? That's what it is.
The thing is, one thing I gotta appreciate about Conor McGregor is you said that, and Dana White said himself that he brings in so much money, and that's very respectable because he's a real showman. Like, if there's a fight with Conor McGregor, everyone wants to watch it because he brings that energy, he brings that trash talk, he brings that grit, and everyone wants to see him fight, and you know that he's gonna give it his all. And that's a very respectable man for that, because even with the whole Mayweather fight previously, like who would have ever thought that Mayweather would get into a ring with a man that's from the UFC, you know, and not like a professional boxer. And like these guys made a killing off that, man. It's a business at the end of the day, and even this fight was a huge fight, and I'm pretty sure it was a big payoff.
So here's a question I'm gonna propose to you guys and you guys at home. After the outcome of this fight, there were a lot of people disappointed with how Khabib reacted.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people disappointed with how Conor McGregor treated Khabib, right? There's a lot of trash talking, and not simple trash talking, but trash talking about someone's family, about someone's religion, about their upbringing in their country, right? So there's a lot of people disappointed in that aspect from both angles. So do you guys think this outcome could have been prevented, or this outcome could have been a more cleaner outcome had Dana White or someone else in the UFC stopped Conor McGregor earlier on? Like, had told him to tone it down, do you guys think that would have made a difference?
I mean, yeah, of course. Especially if Dana White, like one of the biggest players in the biggest like influencers in UFC, he said something. I'm pretty sure he would have like stopped it. But like, you know, the man, he likes Conor McGregor. He roots for him always. Like, but remember what happened? Like after the match, he's like, what happened? He's like, oh, you want to put this belt on me?
Oh yeah. Dana White would not put the belt on Khabib because he was afraid of how the fans would react.
That's understandable, you know, because at the end of the day, you're not gonna compromise the safety of 20,000 people. Because it could be a brawl, you know. Yeah. The way it was handled was pretty good. After Khabib jumped out of the ring and, the octagon wanted to fight one of McGregor's trainers, and which is totally gangster, by the way. I can guarantee you this was some gangster shit that went down after the fight.
And then let me bring up what you said about that. Like, one of the reasons why Khabib attacked Conor McGregor's trainer was not only was during the fight that trainer was talking a lot of trash to Khabib, but Khabib and this man, I forgot what the man's name is, but they have a history.
Yeah, they do.
They have a history that goes back years, right? So this man was Conor McGregor's jiu-jitsu coach. And the first time that man and Khabib met was like at that man's jiu-jitsu like dojo, right? His academy. And Khabib was wearing a t-shirt that says if Sambo was easy, it would be called jiu-jitsu. Sambo, if you guys don't know, is a Russian martial arts.
Yeah.
It's Khabib's first it's his background martial arts, right? So he has a lot of respect for Sambo, and he thinks that's one of the best martial arts. So as far as grappling and wrestling, he was insulting jiu-jitsu, and he was insulting that man's martial arts choice. So Conor McGregor knew they had a history, so he specifically got that man to coach him in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So then there was a lot of animosity rising up for years and years, and also in the middle of the fight when he was talking trash, and after the fight when he was talking trash, I feel like Khabib just lost it. There was a lot of adrenaline through his body.
Of course.
Anybody could have gotten it.
Yeah.
The way I feel about this was that, like you mentioned before, if Dana White should have taken some precaution, told Conor to tone it down, you know, with the trash talk or whatever. But what I gotta say is this is the fight industry, man. This is part of the game. Like, I don't think there should be a very small or like limited things that you shouldn't be able to say that are like totally, you know, extremely disrespectful or totally not even related to the fight or whatever it may be. But if it's just regular trash talk, it's part of the game, you know, and I feel like that's just bringing the hype to the fight. And at the end of the day, like I said, it's a business. You have to create the hype, you have to build the tension, and at the end of the day, the more tension there is, the better the fight will be, as we saw. And the one thing I do want to say about the whole Sambo and jiu-jitsu thing is that, like, yeah, I get it, he disrespected him or whatever with the whole shirt, but at the end of the day, like, everyone wants to speak their mind or say what they have to say, you know? So you can't necessarily get upset over everything. But with that being said, the wrestling Khabib put up in that fight was just off the chain, man.
And not even the wrestling, the striking.
Yeah, third round.
A lot of people say Conor McGregor is the best striker in the UFC, but Conor McGregor got outstriked.
Yeah, he got outstriked.
He got, you know, there was more significant strikes landed. There was like Conor McGregor got knocked down.
Oh yeah. Every round.
Yeah, he was
except the third round.
Not only was he taken down with like, you know, tackles, but he got knocked down. He put like in the second round there was a punch that knocked Conor McGregor down.
Yeah, that was a tough punch. And the thing I want to give up to Conor was that he did last the rounds, but Khabib definitely disrespects him in the third round when he didn't even, like, he tried to take him down a few times, but he was willing to box. I feel he was willing to box, and he showed that even when it comes to the boxing, throughout the rounds, that he would be the better boxer. But I mean, at that point, McGregor did take a beating, so I get it. Like
that's what I like though, because like Conor McGregor, the way he showed it, is, like, you know, he's always cocky, bro. Like the man's always like talking shit, but like the man was fighting in his words, but Khabib, this guy, like destroyed him with his like fighting.
Right.
And that's
for sure.
In the end, that's what it comes down to. And like going back to the fact, like, you know, how like talking to each other, you know, like talking shit.
Yeah.
Like, there's a certain limit. Like, you can't like be talking about a man's family or a man's dad or a man's religion
and expect that to get beat.
Yeah, like that's just too far. There's certain like limits to
So here's the
how you
thing.
can talk shit. Like,
So here's my opinion on that, and this was also Dana White's opinion, and a lot of people. UFC is a mixed martial arts sports, right?
Yeah.
And everyone knows martial arts. You know, a lot of when you think of martial arts, you think Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan. You think of these peaceful warriors who have control over their mind, who have control over their emotion, and of course, control over their body.
Very grounded people.
There's a lot of quotes where, like, you're not conquering other people in martial arts, you're conquering yourself. So my personal opinion is that, I don't think Khabib should have done that. Of course, he's a human and humans have emotions, but as a martial artist, as a representative of martial arts, there's a thing, like, Conor McGregor wasn't representing martial arts either properly, don't get it wrong.
yeah.
But, both of these guys had a responsibility to represent the sport of mixed martial arts properly.
Yeah.
And, all that trash talking is not martial arts. It is a show, it is a business.
It is entertainment.
It is entertainment, and a lot of people have been talking about this event very similar to WWE events.
Yeah. And especially with the drama going on afterwards, it felt like a WWE event. Like, that was the first time I've ever seen someone jump out of the octagon and attack in that manner, at least. And usually pertaining to the WWE, like, that happens on the regular, like, you see that. And what a show, though. What a show. I was thoroughly satisfied, as I'm sure all viewers were, especially with the fight itself, the drama beforehand, the craziness afterwards. And honestly, at this point, Conor does want a rematch. I don't know if he'll get it, but if it does happen, I think the fight will be much better. But at this point, I feel like the next fight should be Tony Ferguson and Khabib, because they haven't fought, and that matchup has been set up so many times, but it's never gone through.
Yeah,
but I feel like at this point, Tony Ferguson deserves that fight, and I think he'll be the best competitor for Khabib in the coming future, because even in this card, I forget the dude he fought in the co-main event, but he crushed him, man. And Tony Ferguson's a savage.
That's if Khabib ever fights again. There's a lot of different possibilities. He might retire, he might not be able to fight, or like his visa might get revoked. There's a lot of things going around there that could be complicating.
No doubt.
No, but do you think if he does fight Conor McGregor again, do you think there's gonna be a better chance for Conor McGregor to win?
Okay, so one thing I will say about Conor is that he's very strategic. He's very smart, especially if you look back to the Nate Diaz fight. Yeah. The first time they fought, he was also submitted.
And all that trash talk is a strategic part of Conor McGregor.
Yeah, he has that mental edge, that's why he comes in with all that trash talk, with his walk, everything.
And it's not regular trash talk. He researches into the lives of his competitors.
He says something very personal and stuff that will hit you,
Man's like Batman, he's one step ahead when it comes to trash talking. Like, this man knows everything about you.
Khabib's one step ahead in the ring.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, if there is a rematch, I think Khabib will win, but it'll definitely be a better fight. But if there's one dream fight that will hopefully go down as the greatest fight of all time in that weight class, would be Khabib versus GSP if GSP comes out of retirement, which he might. And if that's the fight that goes down, then I don't know if Khabib will win, but that will be definitely a much better matchup.
Well, I don't know, like GSP is getting old still. Like,
he is, but
I know he's a sick man, but like
different kind of man too,
Alright, guys. I'm just gonna wrap up this video real quick with this post I saw on Facebook. Actually, it's a very interesting post. I'm gonna propose this to you guys. I'm gonna propose this to you guys at home. What would America's founding fathers think of their fight? So this guy talks about the First Amendment guarantees the right to freedom of speech. Therefore, it is illegal to talk smack about another. So it's cool for Conor McGregor and his entourage to taunt Khabib.
Yeah.
The second point he made is the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment guarantees the right to lethal weaponry. And if you don't know, martial artists, their hands and fists are considered lethal weaponry.
No doubt.
So the Second Amendment guarantees the right to lethal weaponry. Therefore, it is legal for someone to defend themselves, their loved ones, and their country with lethal force if necessary. And the third point that he made was, if someone goes low enough to attack the honor of your country, your family, you have the right to demand satisfaction with a fair duel to the death. Yes, this was both legal and moral for a while after the Constitution was established, and used as a rational deterrent to keep people from using fighting words. Thus, Conor McGregor's insults to his family them's fighting words.
Yeah, no doubt about that one.
So therefore, America's founding fathers would have been perfectly fine with Khabib's reaction. What do you guys think? At home, over here.
I mean, in terms of U.S., like we live in Canada, but in U.S. perspective, in terms of the amendments, I mean that makes sense. You know, like all those points, all the 3 amendments, they make sense. The man's trying to defend himself. They're both trying to defend themselves. It's like a war basically between 2 guys. But like in terms of Canadian perspective, to me, like I was raised in Canada for probably most of my life. I'd question it. Like there are some points that, you know, like there are some limits to those points, those amendments for me as a Canadian.
Yeah.
But if I was a U.S. citizen, it might be different. I don't know. That's why I see it.
The way I'm summing this up is that the way I'm understanding is that if you gotta talk the talk, you gotta walk the walk. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what these founding fathers were feeling, is that if you're gonna talk smack, you gotta be willing to back it up. And if you're 2 like very good fighters and the smack talk is going, the better the fight will be. And we've seen the result of it, and I feel like it's not gonna change going like further into the UFC or the WWE or any fight industry. And I totally agree with those amendments and those laws pertaining that if you're gonna talk that smack, you better be willing to back it up, because if you're not, then I guess you won't be submitted in the 4th round. But that's about it.
Alright guys, that's it for this video. This is the first episode of Time Vision Talks. My name is Mustafa.
I'm Fike.
I'm Nazar, and we'll see you next time in the next episode, next topic.
See ya.